Talks of more tariffs on U.S.-made goods, this time from Mexico, could impact both farmers and consumers. Tariffs are expected to rise 15 to 25% for goods exported to Mexico, like cheese and pork from the dairy state and apples from Minnesota.
News 8's Mel Meyer explains what all the back and forth over trade agreements could mean for you.
It's a lot to keep track of, but Mexico's list of tariffs released on Tuesday is starting to bring this all to a head, especially in an area of the country with a huge agricultural economy. While many think they won't be impacted directly, the indirect effect of these tariffs could be costly. There's a lot of different apple varieties grown at Southwind orchards.
Right around 28.
When these trees are ripe for harvesting in the fall, the majority of the 20,000 apple bushels will be sent off to a large packing house before going to grocery stores.
I think I can say with certainty about 100% of our production is sold domestically.
So he hasn't been watching the tariff talks closely for his business, but with a more than $19 million apple industry in Minnesota, he does worry for other farmers.
I know it bothers other people in agriculture, and that bothers me.
Caitlin Lance says industries like the $43.4 billion a year Wisconsin cheese industry may take a hit, but not necessarily the individual farmers.
And if they do deal with a lot of exports, then yes, they're going to feel that. But if they're dealing with a couple other parties in between before, their milk, they might not necessarily see that.
She says in cases like Southwind Orchard, they may see little impact on their apple prices, but other tariffs could affect their costs.
So especially with a lot of our steel prices, that may impact our equipment price. So like for manufacturing different tractors and things like that, those may end up being a little bit more expensive.
All these costs together could be passed along to consumers, but only time will tell.
Consumers may see a rise in prices of certain agricultural goods to just compensate for some of those tariffs.
While all the back and forth has created a lot of uncertainty, there could be some positives out of this.
The trade deficit for the month of April in the U.S. was actually much better than it's been in a while. So there is a trade-off. There is both sides of the fence.
One of Wisconsin U.S. Senators, Ron Johnson, has joined a bipartisan group to introduce legislation requiring congressional approval of tariffs. The bill would require the president to submit any proposals to adjust imports in the interest of national security to Congress. Legislators would have 60 days to approve the proposal. It would also apply to all similar actions moving forward and changes taken within the past 2 years. In the statement, Senator Johnson said, quote, "It's time for Congress to reclaim its constitutional authorities on tariffs to ensure we don't undermine the significant economic progress we have made over the last 18 months, end quote. Mike and Martha?
Thanks a lot, Mal. Earlier in May, the European Union also released a list of more than $3 billion worth of U.S. products that could be subject to stiff tariffs.
Those tariffs could take effect on June 20th.